Welcome again to Ancient Tales for today. Well, in today's story, we continue to look at the Hebrews. A lot has happened in Egypt. The Egyptians, 埃及人要他们走，快点走，免得他们再发生一些灾难。So, it's time to leave. But some interesting things are going to happen. In today's lesson, number 49, we look at it and we notice crossing the sea on dry ground. And with that, stay by for more of today's interesting story.
Number 49, Crossing the Sea on Dry Ground. In the morning, the Egyptians wake up and all the Hebrews are gone. Instead of being happy that they won't have any more trouble, the king and his officials ask themselves, what have we done? We let all those Hebrew slaves get away. Let's get the army ready and go and drag them back. Isn't that amazing? After all they have been through, they still want to change their minds and bring the Hebrews back? What were they thinking? The Hebrews have not gone far. They are a very large group. The king of Egypt sees his chance and gets all his chariots ready to capture these runaway slaves. They catch up with the Hebrews at the edge of the Red Sea. When the Hebrews realize what has happened, they panic. They see the Egyptian army in front of them. Behind them is the barrier of the Red Sea. They think they are all going to die. They complain to Moses, "Is it because there aren't enough graves in Egypt that you brought us out here to die?" They ask. "We shouldn't have listened to you. It would be better to be a slave in Egypt than to die out here in the wilderness." "Don't be afraid," Moses replies. "Just watch what God is going to do for you." Moses picks up his rod and holds it over the sea. A wind blows all night and moves the water out of the way. The Hebrews cross over on dry ground. The Egyptian army still follows them, but once the Hebrews are safe on the other side, Moses holds his rod over the sea again, and the waters rush back. The whole Egyptian army is drowned. A tragedy they could have avoided if they had not been so foolish. The stubborn king loses his life, paying the penalty for his stupidity.
Well, in the morning, the Egyptians, 这个埃及人, they wake up and all the Hebrews are gone. Gone. Almost like a bad dream. Because instead of being happy, guess what? That they don't have more trouble. The king and his officials ask themselves, what have we done? We let the Hebrew slaves get away. Okay, now, let's go back here. Instead of being happy, that they don't have more trouble. Now, we need to look at that. 他们本来我们就想啊, whoa, they should be very happy. 但他们不是很 happy. 他们不是很快乐他们没有想到哎呀，幸亏他们走了，我们现在不会发生为了他们的缘故就发生问题，痛苦啊。The king and his officials asked themselves, 埃及王和那些大臣the people that help the king run the country. Anyway, the king and his officials asked themselves, what have we done? What have we done? We let the Hebrew slaves get away. 我们就让他们 Well, okay, now, what does it mean to get away? Sometimes get away almost has the meaning of 跑掉我们就让那些希伯来这个奴隶跑掉 Let's get the army ready. 准备我们的军队 Okay? And we will go and drag them back. Okay, what does it mean to drag? 拉他们回来 So, they are not happy. 反而 instead, they are very upset. 非常烦恼 Going on. Isn't it amazing? 我总是觉得是蛮奇妙的Isn't it amazing? After all they had been through, 经过他们所经过的痛苦、灾难、疾病等等 all that they have been through, 他们所经过的 they still want to change their minds. 还是他们想要改变主意 change their minds. And what do they want? They want to bring the Hebrews back. 要把这个希伯来人带回来 Why? Because these were the people that did the work. Maybe the people of Egypt were very lazy and all the slaves did work. I guess maybe that's the main reason. 但是呢 what are they thinking? 他们想的到底是什么 So you can see their brains are not working real well. Now, the Hebrews have not gone far, of course. I mean, you think about it. This is a large group of people, a large number of people, 一大群人, okay? Maybe 1 million people, okay? They have not gone far because they are a large group, 一大群, a large group of people. The king of Egypt sees his chance. Okay, so obviously he's not going to change right now. So we studied the word stubborn. I think stubborn, 非常顽固. I mean, stubborn is a good way to describe the king of Egypt. The king of Egypt sees his chance. 就看到这个机会，他有机会。And he gets all of his chariots, 准备他所有的马车 ready. Okay, he's prepared his chariots to 捉拿 capture 捉拿 okay, these runaway slaves. What is a runaway slave? A runaway slave is somebody who has 跑掉 跑掉的这个奴仆。Okay. So he's going to go back and he's going to capture, 捉拿 these runaway slaves. Now, interestingly, they catch up. What does it mean to catch up? 他们就赶上 okay, catch up, 赶上这个希伯来人 where? At the Red Sea, 就是在红海边 okay, edge 边 so they catch up 他们赶上他们 going on. When the Hebrews realize what has happened, 当这个希伯来人就明白现在发生的是什么 they panic, 他们就惊慌啊 panic, they are very fearful 惊慌 they see the Egyptian army in front of them, 他们就看到这个埃及的军队在他们的面前 and behind them is the barrier of the Red Sea. Okay, what is a barrier? A barrier, sometimes we say 栏杆 okay, a barrier, okay, or 阻地. In other words, the Red Sea stops them. A barrier is something that stops people. So now, behind them is a barrier. They can't go any farther. What's going to happen? We'll have to wait for a minute because now we have some light on your path. Okay, how about some light on our path? Today, we're going to look at the actual story, the actual record, 这个实际的这个记载 and it's in Exodus 14, 19, and 20.
出埃及记的第14章的19节到20节。
And the angel of God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud went before them and stood behind them. So it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. Thus it was a cloud and darkness to one, and it gave light by night to the other, so that the one did not come near the other all that night.
这里的经文说啊，在以色列营前行走，上帝的使者转到他们后边去，云柱也从他们的前边转到他们的后边立住。在埃及营和以色列营中间有云柱，一边黑暗一边发光，中夜两下不得相近。艾老师，这真是一个很奇妙的景象，好像电影，是不是？
Yeah.
那我就想到当时这个以色列人真的是非常的危险。看圣经我们知道前面有山有水，后边有埃及的军队，他们没有路可以走了。
Right.
但是上帝实行这个神迹，是不是？
Right. Lena, God has 1,000 ways, 1,000 ways to provide for us. 这个会解决我们的问题。And usually we can only think of one.
对。
But in this case, there was this 火柱, 云柱, and it protected them. Well, I wish we could say more, but we don't have any more time for Light on Our Path today. Okay, In English, we say it's time to push the panic button. Okay, 它那个惊慌的按钮啊 and they see, here comes the Egyptian army, okay, in front of them. Behind them is what? Behind them is the barrier of the Red Sea. You cannot go over the Red Sea. They think they are all going to die. 他们就想，哎呀，还是我们要死。They complain to Moses. 向摩西抱怨。Okay, complain to Moses. Is it because there aren't enough graves in Egypt that you brought us out here to die? They asked. 他们就问他，是不是因为埃及的这个坟墓是不够，你就带我们到这个地方要死，是不是？ Is it because there are not enough graves in Egypt? Graves, 坟墓, okay? Okay, a graveyard is 墓地, okay? So that you brought us, 你就带我们出来，要死，为了要死。So this is what they asked. 他们抱怨 complain to Moses. Going on. We shouldn't have listened to you. You are going to see this over and over again, so this is just the first time. They will complain and complain and complain and complain. 抱怨, 抱怨, 抱怨. Okay, we shouldn't have listened. 不应该是听你啊。It would be better to be a slave in Egypt. 做埃及人的这个奴仆、奴隶比较好。比 to die here in the wilderness. 死在这个旷野。So they're not all that happy. So Moses, he says, don't be afraid. 不要怕。他回答 just watch what God is going to do for you. Just watch and see what God is going to do for you. 上帝为你到底要做什么 Okay? Moses picks up his rod. Okay? Moses picks up his rod. Now, remember, he has, what do you call it? Jong. Okay? It's a rod. It's a piece of wood like this. Quite. Okay, remember that rod became a snake? Okay? 发树的时候. Actually, he was able to make it into a snake. And he uses the same rod. And he holds it up over the sea. 就是在这个海上拿着. A wind blows all night. 整个晚上有风吹着. The wind is blowing all night and moves the water out of the way. 就把水吹到一边了. And the Hebrews cross over on dry ground. 这个希伯来人就过海。怎么样过海呢？ They cross over on dry ground. Ground is 地. Dry is 干. 所以他们走的路是 干地. Moses picks up the rod. He holds it over the sea. The wind blows all night. It moves the water out of the way. And the Hebrews cross over on dry ground. Going on. The Egyptian army still follows them. Sometimes I think, well, if I were an Egyptian, I would say, whoa, I'm not sure about this. But the Egyptian army still follows them. 这个埃及人的军队继续跟着他们，跟随着他们。But once the Hebrews are safe on the other side, actually, we know, and you will see a little bit later, there was a cloud, a special cloud. 有一个云, we say 云柱, a pillar of cloud. Okay, this pillar of cloud stood between the Hebrews and the army. Of course, the army could travel much faster, right? Because you had mothers and fathers among the Hebrews. You had the animals. So they are very slow. 有一点慢吞吞的. But once the Hebrews are safe on the other side, what happens? Moses holds the rod over the sea again. I can see him standing there. The wind is blowing his hair and blowing his beard, 吹他的头发和他的胡子. And the waters rush back. The waters 这个跑到原位. Okay, they rush back to where they were. So, this is a beautiful, beautiful miracle, right? It's a miracle, 一个神迹啊, 一个奇迹啊. And this should give them confidence. Oh, God will solve our problems. Just think, the waters moved and we were safe, we were protected, nothing happened to us. And I imagine they were saying all sorts of nice things to God. 他们就赞美我感谢他了. But there's more to the story. And we'll catch that in the next lesson. But now, some words that you need to know. Now let's take a look at words we need to know. To change our mind, or to change one's mind.
就是改变主意。
Okay. Do you ever change your mind?
有的时候会。
Yes. Sometimes it's good to change your mind. 改变主意也是好的，不要太顽固啊。Okay. And another one is to capture.
是捉拿。
捉拿. To capture, and then a person who is captured is a captive. 被捉拿的是一个well, what
犯人
maybe 犯人. Okay. Okay, another one is panic.
就是惊慌，很被吓到了，是吧？
Right. In this story, they were panicking. Okay, they were afraid. 这个吓坏了。
对。
But God had 1,000 ways. Actually, only one way, and He opened the water up so they could go through. Well, that's wonderful. Panic. complain, of course.
抱怨。
Okay, 埋怨. Okay, and of course the people were complaining to Moses. And then finally, all of the Egyptians drowned in the Red Sea.
淹
Drowned?
死那个埃及的军队，好多被淹死了。
Right. To drown means to 淹死. And I guess that's about all the time we have for words you need to know. Well, we looked at another story from the ancient tales. In this lesson, number 49, we looked at crossing the sea on dry ground. 过海，但是走在干地. That's pretty impressive, you'll have to admit. So a lot of interesting things happened a long, long time ago. So now what's going to happen next? Well, in our next lesson, number 50, we talk about bread from heaven. 从天上，从天庭来的面包粮食. You'll want to stay by this time, this station, for the next lesson, bread from heaven.
That's all for today, and thanks for watching. If you like Ancient Tales for Today, please visit atft.chinesehope.tv. You may also contact us by writing to ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Again, that's ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Tell your friends about Ancient Tales for Today. See you next time.